Hello everyone and welcome back to the Stock Market Sensei channel after quite a long hiatus. If anyone's curious, there's definitely a good reason for it. My computer kind of died and finally got a new one. So we're back and just in time for some important news. Today I'll be going over what my personal favorite pick for the next 5 to 10 years is for the stock market. And as you see up there, nothing original there, right? It's Facebook. So there are many reasons why I think this company is going to way exceed any other company in the coming years. They are poised for long-term growth and earnings increases significantly. And maybe as they mature as a company too, they could also start offering a dividend too, which would be a fantastic incentive to investors. I recently increased my position in this pretty significantly, and I'm glad to say after the most recent dip, we'll go over that chart real quick, just so you can see how this thing has been performing past week here, once it wants to load. Alright, get a month chart. On the month, you see down, obviously. 6 months, yeah, look at that. So the main reason here is due to their last earnings release. You see this huge dip, then we have this huge dip back in the Cambridge Analytica issue where, they were selling their data, users' personal data, caused the stock price to go down significantly. Then we had a huge run-up. It was fantastic to be along, and then they reported earnings which were frankly not that bad. The main reason here for this dip would be that they said that they would be decreasing profitability technically over the coming years. As the company's maturing more, they're not going to be making as much money as they'll be striving to do a bunch of content policing, stuff like that, a lot more concerted effort to make the website as good as they can. That Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp as well. They're doing their best to increase that. So as you see, both of these fantastic buying opportunities. It's unreal. As you can see, the shares traded down here too. How quickly the volume went up. It was pretty significant. A lot of people were selling there. Some of the big hedge funds too. They got out of their positions there, which usually is the reason why big companies like this get their stock price driven down so much. Is the Big Five, Big Six people out there say sell it, and people start to sell it and freak out. There's a reason why I think this is a fantastic pickup right now. I increased my position, I believe, around 175 or the 175 mark, and it did decrease even further from there. I didn't pick up any more because I expected it to go back, and now it's back up to 180, and I think the recovery will be relatively slow to begin with, but I think the rewards in the end will be significant. So this is a company where tech, I would say tech as a whole, very highly overvalued. For the most part, at least. There are some exceptions, but a lot of tech companies are significantly overvalued. Like I would say, all the FANG stocks personally, Amazon, for sure, Netflix, I would say Tesla as well, extremely overvalued. I know they're going private, but potentially going private, but completely overvalued. And that's happening with a lot of tech stocks right now. So there's kind of a bubble, some would say, but I think Facebook's very reasonably priced. Current PE ratio of 28 and a forward PE ratio of only 21 or 22. It's a fantastic deal for a company like this. There's so much going for them that really, that's a very low PE ratio, and I think it's a great time to get into this stock if you haven't already. If you are interested, we will go into just some of the great reasons here. If you look at this income statement, it's absolutely astounding. You see the growth that this company puts on. So these are profit numbers. This is a company that has hordes of cash stowed away. I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of cash which can be used for expanding the company and potentially even dividends in the future. But they have so much cash, it's insane. If you look at profit numbers, 2014, I mean, that's 10 million. Are you kidding me? 2015, you increase it by 50% there. 2016, that's crazy, another 50% increase, and then 2017, I mean, that's insane, over 50% increase yet again in profitability. This year's is the same story. I mean, it's ridiculous. As you see, expenses obviously increasing as they further their business. Income, no shocker there, ridiculous. I mean, those net income numbers are fantastic. I mean, you can't argue with growth like that. It's ridiculous. And the numbers just keep going up. I mean, this is a ridiculous steal for this company. I mean, this is a company that I see 2 to 3 years it is trading $300. I think that'd be completely fair for that. And there's a couple reasons to that. So, for one, obviously Facebook, the main site, still consistent, and they're still growing users too, which is what I find strange. Facebook's been around forever, and they still find a way to grow users. They're really working on trying to keep users now with content policing, stuff like that, deleting fake accounts. But even with that, they're still growing daily active users and monthly active users, which is a significantly just fantastic sign. A company that's been around for this long, this website's still being used daily. I mean, it's amazing to see that those growth numbers when you think they may have reached, and eventually they will reach their max, and that's okay because they have such a high market here. It's ridiculous. They own everyone online, so I don't think there's an issue at all once they reach their cap, because they still have a couple more growth platforms as well. That in their purchase of Instagram, which has significantly increased since they purchased it around, I think it was $1 billion they purchased it for. I mean, it's now at least a $20 billion company if it were a standalone company. I mean, Instagram is a ridiculous growth factor too. They recently launched Instagram Live as well, which I guess is technically supposed to combat YouTube TV or YouTube Red, whatever. And we haven't necessarily seen the numbers from that yet, but I think that could be a significant growth as well. People subscribing to see their content creators on Instagram. Instagram's growing users as well, so something like that, I think it's a good time for that before Instagram hits its peak, to throw that in right now and see how that performs. I'd like to see how it will perform. I think it'll be a very successful segment for their business. And Instagram as a whole, just people are using Instagram more and more. That's significant monthly active user growth, daily active user growth as well on Instagram. Probably one of the better social media sites out there in terms of growth right now. We've also got WhatsApp, another purchase they made, which also is another significant growth factor for them. Once they get a little bit more R&D on it, they can certainly turn WhatsApp into an extremely highly profitable business, which it is profitable. The only thing is there's a couple things they can improve on it, and I'm sure they're working on improving WhatsApp. Their focus right now is kind of on Instagram. Once they get that done, they'll start to focus on WhatsApp. And subscription model, their services category will increase significantly. I mean, services are where it's at right now. Companies are rolling on services like Netflix and Apple. They're all Spotify. They're all rolling on services. Services is kind of where it's at to be in the market right now. How long that's going to last, I don't have a definitive answer. But it's services are the way to go, and Facebook's trying to capitalize on that, which is what's such a huge growth factor here. But long term, I think this will be the greatest pick, highest performing that I could think of for the next 5 to 10 years. Again, I think in a couple years, 2 years at least, this will be a $300 stock. If you don't have a position in this, I would suggest going for it. This is definitely a steal at this price. I know back at 160 was obviously a better steal, and we were gifted an opportunity with this most recent earnings call. So I'd say while it's low, you pick it up. Just hold it for the next 5 to 10 years. You will not be disappointed. All right, that's about all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.